Hello everyone, Larry Satchwell here. I again apologize for the sound. My microphones have been put off another couple of days. I'm not going to get them until Monday. But here we are, March 1st, garden update. I'm starting here in the basement. All of these are big boy peas coming up here, and they're doing real well. Over here are tomatoes and peppers. They're on a heated mat here, and some lettuce in my containers here that hasn't come up yet. But the tomatoes are looking good. This is that 42, tomato number 42. There were only 2 seeds in that packet, so I guess that's when they're experimental. I did put 2 seeds in every pod here, and you can see a couple of them have doubled. Over here are peppers, and they have not come up yet. I had really hard time propagating those peppers last year too, so might be the variety. I don't remember the name of it, but I'm excited. In fact, I think I'll leave the top off of here today because these are starting to hit the top and bend over. So I'm going to leave the top off of those. Might as well leave the top off the peas. I'll be planting these next week. It's going to be in the lows in the 50s, highs in the 70s next week. And I've got to get these in the garden because here in Georgia, spring may not happen. It may just go directly to summer. And peas need cool weather. So I'll be planting those the next couple of days. Let's go out to the garden, look at some daffodils up in the daffodil garden. Well, March 1st is coming in very wet and cold. This is the view I see every day coming up from doing my chores, checking over the garden. It's hard to see it on the camera, but I've got daffodils coming up everywhere. I really like daffodils. Way down what used to be our orchard, and I'll take you down there in a minute. You can see some daffodils through the through the blueberry plants down there. This is what used to be our orchard. When we first moved in here from 40 years ago, we had lots of apple trees and pear trees, a peach, a plum. But over the years, these oak trees got really big. And about 15 years ago, beavers chopped down all of my trees within a couple of days. I couldn't catch them. And then the county put this barrier up here, and they oversprayed their herbicide on my last remaining apple tree, and it died. And I didn't realize what had happened until it was way too late to say anything. And I forgot to mention on my last video, this is one of my persimmons trees I've planted out here. I had to be careful because they're not good for horses, so I had to plant them in the areas where the horses can't have access to them. So I've got them spread out pretty much throughout of the 5 acres here that don't include the 4 acres we have up in the woods, or 3 acres we have up in the woods for the horses to move through. Coming up on the gazebo here, the water temperature is about 50 degrees now, so I've been feeding them this cold weather food, and they're getting really active, especially on the days where it's been in the 70s. I've been cleaning up the perennial hill here. I still have all these winter weeds in here, and they'll go away, but they'll be back next year if I don't put down some pre-emergent weed killer. I've got everything pretty much cleaned up. I put all of those black-eyed Susans down in an area where I hope to have some wildflowers. Good strawberry patch here. I transplanted a lot of things the other day. Shasta's daisies and some echinacea in here. The other day, I covered this up. It was just full of winter weeds. Nothing growing in there except for winter weeds. And this is where the echinacea had overwintered. Over here is where the tunnel was, and our lettuce is still doing well. I had hoped to plant some onions today and show you how I do that, but with this rain, it's going to be way too wet. I did plant this the other day. I've got some lettuce coming up here and some radishes and spinach. Hasn't come up yet because I just planted, I think, on Tuesday of this week. I've got to keep it covered up here. I'll show you the damage the cats do. Anytime I leave anything uncovered, the cats dig in it. So I got this prepared yesterday for the onions. They came yesterday in the mail from Brown's Omaha onion plant. I tried to start digging this up yesterday to put a row of bricks here, but it was just too muddy, and so I gave up on that. But I have filled the beds here. This is 1 yard on each bed. Got it in bulk, a lot of work. This is what they call landscapers mix and garden mix. A little bit of each in here. So I'll be planting this. I think I'm going to put the peas here. I'm just trying to decide where. I want to put some corn in here too. And I'll probably put the tomatoes over on that side. The sun comes up over the house right there and sets right over there. So this is the sunniest part of the garden. Oh, my hands are getting cold. This is where the Shasta daisies were. Let's take a quick trip up to the new daffodil garden. Well, here we are. These look great. You can see them from the driveway. They're doing really well. This is foxglove coming up here. More foxglove. It's very difficult to see, but this is Jimmy's butterfly bush he gave me last year. It's very hard to see there, but it's right in the middle. Had some crocus come up and these grape hyacinth. Over here, this bed used to be full of daffodils. You can see the leaves up here because it's gotten so many. Boy, my tongue's frozen. Over here, it used to be full of daffodils, but the last couple of years it's gotten so much shade they haven't been able to put a flower down in the bulb before the summer. Here's the Burpee garden. Finally bloomed yesterday for the first time, February 29th. So I figure I should have a bloom here until June 9th. I am finding that really hard to believe, but June 9th should be the last bloom here. Here are the more of the Shasta daisies and the echinacea I put up here right beside it. We've got a couple of bird feeders up here. Kitchen window and dining room window right there. I'll tell you what, it's a miserable day in Georgia, that's for sure. I don't plan on spending a lot of time outside. And I've got a lot of footage of what I've been doing the last few days, and I might put that up at the end, but right now, I'm going in and having that second cup of coffee and edit this video. I'll see you in the garden again on March 15th. Hopefully my microphone will be back by then and this sound won't be so awful. And we'll keep you updated on this Burpee garden. I might put some little short videos up on that. The 100-day blooms, we'll wait and see. I'm gonna hold Burpee to it. Thanks for watching and stay warm. I hope the sun shines on your garden very soon. Well, I got so cold out there, I forgot to mention this hack. I saw this last year and it reappeared this year. This is cornstarch and water, and I brought it to a boil. I let it cool, and then I put about a half a package of carrots. This is Danvers half longs, and a lot of radish seeds. Carrots can be very finicky about germination. They take about 10 to 15 days to germinate, and they need to stay moist that whole time. I've tried several different ways of doing that. I've put sand over the top, I've put boards over the top, and it's always iffy if you're going to get a stand of carrots or not. So hopefully this will keep them moist. The hack said you could keep them in this bag for 3 or 4 days. I did this yesterday, so hopefully I can get these in the garden Saturday or Sunday afternoon. It's supposed to stop raining for a while, and my raised beds will dry out very quickly. Also wanted to show you the onions from Brown's Omaha. I'll put a link down below. I've been ordering them for about 15 years. They come in a box like this in the mailbox. Woo! I have 2 orders here. I only ordered 1. And it says I ordered 1, but there are 2 bunches in here. Each one of these bunches will hold between 50 and 70 plants. So I can't plant these right away. So the directions say, I've read them several times before, just if they look off-colored or dry or dead, just put the roots in the water. Don't get the foliage wet, just the roots in cool water, and they will revive right away. I think you can, also says you can keep them for like a couple of weeks if you have to delay planting, but they give you several different shipping dates. They always before gave you the option of shipping on let them make the decision on when to ship. This is an intermediate day onion. That means this is the onion we should plant in the mid-Atlantic. There are short day onions and long day onions. And depending on where you live, that's what you should plant if you want onion bulbs. The green onions don't make much of a difference, and I'll plant some of those, but this will be our winter storage onions. They will store for at least 2 months, sometimes longer if you keep them in just the right conditions, which is cool, dry, and dark. So I'll be getting these in the garden. Of course, I'll put a little video up on my next garden video on the 15th on doing that. So it's time to get my tomato seeds started and my pepper seeds. It's a little early for squash and cucumbers, but these take about 6 weeks, and my frost date is April 15th for tender crops. It may be a little earlier than that, but I'm not going to put anything in the ground before then that's tender like this. I don't normally plant in these seed pots, but when I was at Lowe's about a month ago, on one side of the aisle, this was $9.95, and on the other side of the aisle, or $9.98, and the other side of the aisle was $19.98. So I went and got one of the clerks I know, the associates, and pointed out to her. She said, somebody's not doing the job. You can have one at $9.98. So that's what I bought. I've hydrated them with warm water, and I've given each one of them a little squeeze massage to loosen up the soil. So now it's ready to go. I'm going to use my little chopstick here to put a little hole in them. And because if you stick this on here, you can't put the top on, so I'm using this handy dandy chart they gave me, and then once I transfer them into larger pots, I will be able to put more labels on them. But right now, that little chart's going to suffice. So I've got several different varieties here. I'm going to put one variety in each row. This is Seeds and Such Original Blue Ribbon. 30 seeds there. I got Pine Trees next, San Marceno. I'm going to put what Seeds and Such calls Tomato 42 Day. And Celebrity Plus, I'm going to put 2 rows of it because I really like celebrities. Hopefully there's enough seeds in there for that. And this is last year's seed, Big Beef. And I've got Rosella, which is a little cherry tomato. And last year's seeds from King Arthur's pepper. That turned out to be a pretty good pepper. I'm going to put 1 row of that. 2 rows of it. It didn't germinate very well last year. So that's the process. I'm also going to get a jump start on my peas here. These are Mr. Big. Says there's 150 seeds in here. I've got 50 of these little Jiffy peat pots. Peas don't like to be transplanted, so these peat pots I can rip apart and not interrupt the roots. I also want to inoculate them, so I've got some inoculant in here left over. I've been soaking these in some warm water for about 10 or 15 minutes. So let's just drop them in here. So I've got 50 possibilities here. I'm just going to cover that with the inoculant. What that does is fixes the nitrogen, so you get free nitrogen in the garden. I don't know how long this inoculant is good for. This was, I bought this last year. I'm sure it's going to be okay this year. I'm going to plant these pretty deep. These are not going to go, the tomatoes just went on the heat pad. These won't go on the heat pad because they need cool temperatures to germinate. I get a bigger pair of tweezers. I'm only going to put one in each pot